Let's take a look at this box plot. Feel free to pause the video and attempt to answer part A and part B by yourself. If you'd like to do so, pause now, answer, and press play. Most box plots that we've been dealing with tend to have our whiskers or our tails, as Algebra Nation calls them. This is just the box. If we recall, there are a total of 5 key values. We have our minimum, our maximum, quartile 1, our median, and quartile 3. Just because this box plot doesn't have whiskers doesn't mean any one of those values is missing. The line through the center of your box will always be your median. Therefore, our median in this one is 6. The two edges of our box are quartile 1 and quartile 3. Quartile 1 would be 3 and quartile 3 would be 10. Therefore, we are missing our minimum and our maximum values. In this case, our minimum happens to be the same as quartile 1. Our maximum is the same as quartile 3. Therefore, our 5 data points are as follows, with our median being 6. Why is this box plot unique? Exactly what we just discussed. The minimum and the first quartile are the same, and the third and the maximum are the same. Therefore, this box is unique. It has no whiskers. So, throughout your Algebra Nation and throughout some questions, you've been asked which method or which measure of center is best to use. We have 3 measures of center. We have the mean, the median, and the mode. We would use the mean when the data is, for the most part, symmetrical, meaning we would have that bell-shaped curve for the most part. And that looks somewhat okay. If there are no outliers, if there are outliers, they're ones you want to include. So if there's something sitting out here or here, there's something we want to include in our data. If you take a look, the average adult male height, we go anywhere from 5'4" to 5'11". Those outliers are not so extreme. They're within the range. Our median comes into play if data is very skewed. It can be skewed right or it can be skewed left. It doesn't matter. But we use the median as a preference of summary if there are a huge number of outliers. For example, the wealth of people in Miami. You have some that are extremely low class and you have others that are very, very wealthy. Those would be your higher end outliers that throw off your mean. So your median is the better measure of center. Finally, we use the mode. We don't always use the mode, but it's used when it's best because there's large groups of the same thing, meaning you have multiple modes that repeat. So therefore, you might have a country when nearly everyone makes either nothing, but there are a few multi-billionaires. So when you have a couple of the modes that repeat and summarize the data is when you would use that. This right here is a picture of symmetric distribution. It's what we've been dealing with since we started this section. You also have skewed. When we have a skewed distribution, there are 2 types. You have a positive and you have a negative. We're going to take a look at what each one looks like and what is affecting if it's positive or negative. If you take a look at this curve, you know that it is skewed right. And this is a positive skew distribution. The extreme scores are larger on the right. It creates a higher mean value. Therefore, it's positively skewed. The mean and median are bigger than the mode. When we have a skewed left distribution, the extreme values are smaller. Therefore, it shifts the mean towards the lower end of the values. It brings our mean value down. The median also is lower than the mode. If you have more outliers here in a smaller value, our mean is decreased. When you have higher outliers, our mean is increased. Therefore, this one is negatively skewed. For a normal shaped data set, your best measure of center is the mean, whereas a skewed shape data, the median is the best. Take a moment to pause the video at this point and work on this problem. When you are ready to come back, press play and we will discuss the answers. Let's take a look and see how you did. If we take a look here, the range of our data is 85 minus 10. 85 is our largest and 10 is our lowest. Therefore, our range is 75. Our mode is the number that repeats the most at 21. Our median cannot be calculated until we number our numbers from least to greatest and narrow down until we find the middle number. That middle number is 21. Our mean is calculated by adding all our numbers and dividing by how many there were to get 27. If we look at our data, I would use the median because the data is skewed. This data point of 85 skews our data to the right, meaning it's increasing our mean value. Our median is a better summary of all the data points that are characterized without the outlier.